Ooh, that looks tasty.
Welcome folks, Today the Hungry Gamer is back with another mini preview, and today we're talking about Vent Rouge by Dustin Depenning, and I do apologize if I mispronounced that name. And what this game is this is a simultaneous play, push your luck, dice placement, tableau building style game, in which each player is taking on the role of a thief, and I'm not fully clear if these are like a Robin Hood style thieves, or if you're just kind of robbing the horrible rich people or what, but it's set kind of in that Musketeers era is the vibe that I get from it. And what's going to happen is, on each turn, you're going to collectively decide where you're going to go in this manner that you're breaking into. And one of the things you're able to do is, as you go in, you get to move as far as you possibly can until you run into a guard, a locked door, or another player. If you run into another player, you have the option to bribe them to let you pass. They can always say no. And one of the things about this game is you're always able to make another player an offer, whether it be to let you pass or to have them come help you fight somebody, but you're only allowed to make one offer and it's a yes or no. No haggling, make the offer, done. But wherever it is that you wind up, you're going to be fighting some kind of bad guy. And there's 3 different types of bad guys, and it basically boils down to, are they more likely to do more stealth damage to you or physical damage, or the gray ones are kind of, they do both. What's going to happen is once everyone's gotten to the location, you'll draw the bad guy that you're facing, and depending on where in the manner you're fighting them, they'll have extra kind of powers that they're dealing with, and maybe lots of extra powers that they're dealing with. And there's also one kind of big boss right in the middle, which I'll say is kind of the in-game trigger. If you get there and you beat them, the game will end right away, but they're obviously very, very strong. Additionally, there is down at the bottom, every time you face a guard, whether they flee or whether you beat them, you put their token down at the bottom. That's the in-game trigger as well. But what's going to happen is, once everyone has their bad guy, and everyone's checked what kind of weaknesses or whatever there is, then one player is going to roll the dice. And everyone has the same 4 dice, and then for every one that's rolled, you'll get a bonus of what's called wind. And the wind is basically how you're going to get extra dice that you're going to be using. So if you roll a 1, the wind of that color goes up, and then you roll the die again. And you can keep rolling 1s over and over and over again and keep getting more and more wind, which will give you more and more bonus dice. But once that's done, you'll be placing your dice onto the different cards that you have in your tableau, and it'll be either doing damage or giving you block versus the red and the burgundy, or the stealth and the valor health bars that the bad guy has. And you just have to drop one of those 2 down to 0 and you will effectively have defeated them. And unfortunately, in my B-roll footage, I did not actually mark the health bars, but just know that I should have. And so you'll be kind of using those, and you have the opportunity to roll extra dice, which is that little tiny dice that you see on the screen, which are what you're getting with your wind. And that's going to be used up. Once you've used it, you're not going to get to keep that die, though. Again, if you roll a 1, you will get, again, more wind of that color. And the red and purple dice have to go on red or purple or burgundy cards, while the gray dice can be placed on either, and also on the gray only cards. The only thing I need to point out is you cannot use the gray dice to activate red cards or purple cards if you don't have at least one of that color die also there. And as you go through, there's a market that you're going to be able to buy a bunch of cards from. And as you buy cards from there, it's going to increase your tableau. Might just give you static benefits, might give you one-time use benefits where you kind of flip the card over. It might give you benefits that are new tableau cards you can place your dice on, whatever it may be. So you're going to work through, and every turn you are going to do your damage, and you are going to take damage from the bad guy. So you're using these cards to get attack and block. Then you take your damage if you're still alive, and they're still alive, you will do a second fight. After the second fight, though, that's it. If you don't beat them, they will run away. Also, I'll point out that if it's a tie, you both kill each other, you lose. When you get killed, you lose a certain amount of money based on how much money you have, and you get thrown out of the manor. If you beat them, you're going to get the coin reward that you get from them in the top left, and then depending on where you fought them, you will get some other kind of bonus reward from the manor itself. It might be treasure that's worth points at the end, it might be more gold, it might be a servant that you can either scare them for coin or you can bribe them and get some kind of bonus. I mean, you give them coin, but you're going to get something, and so on. Then after everyone has collected their rewards, then you do it all again. The first player decides whether they're going to move in the manor, they're going to keep on moving to some different place, or they're going to decide to leave the manor. If they leave the manor while the players who are still in there are doing their fighting of the guards, you're going to be shopping at the market. And there's 3 different tiers of cards that you can buy from, and they're not all available at the beginning of the game. They become available as you go. That's kind of the idea. Now, I know what you're wondering. What's Vent Rouge? Well, Vent Rouge is like the big bad criminal. I guess he's not bad because you're criminals too, so he's your mentor, I guess. And you can always hire him at the beginning of the round. And he starts out with a cost of X coins. Beginning of the game, it starts at 6. And the first player can say, I'm going to hire him. Pay 6 coins, and you get him, and now he's going to give you a bonus in every single fight. But if you don't hire him, well, his price goes down. He's less in demand, so he'll take a little bit less money. And that price will keep dropping until eventually someone hires him, and then his price shoots back up. And that'll be something that'll happen at the beginning of every single turn, and he's just kind of always there to help you. Also, each of the personas that you have has its own little ability, but really, that's it. That's how the game works. You're going to simply do this around and around until someone has beaten the big boss in the middle, or the tracker of guards is filled up on the bottom, and then you'll add up all of your points, and points are your coins, so when you are buying stuff at that market, you're actually spending your points. Most points will be the winner. So with that said, what do I like about this game? Now, the things that you saw in my B-roll there is all prototype. However, I really like the look of this game. I love this art style, and currently a lot of the cards I think are just a placeholder still, but I really, really like this art style, this kind of like inked art style on like parchment. I love the look of this game. It's just fantastic. Next thing I'll say is I really enjoy the 2 main parts of the core mechanic. One, I like that one person's rolling the dice, and so everybody has the exact same dice. So you're all dealing with the same thing, but you're dealing with different bad guys, so the value of those dice will be different for each person. But I also love the wind. You want to roll 1s every turn because you're going to be able to then use that to activate these bonus dice. And these bonus dice are what are really going to help you succeed in the harder and harder fights. And those fights can really start to ramp up once you start going into some of the more dangerous rooms. So I really enjoy the way the wind works. It's pretty easy to have at least a couple of dice any given turn, and if you don't have any bonus dice that you can use, well then maybe you want to think about getting out of there and coming back in when you're fully healed. But it's really, really fun the way that works. I love dice placement in general. It's one of my favorite mechanics, and I like the way that as this one goes, as you go through, once you leave, you're going to buy a bunch of cards and come back, and then you have all of these different really, really cool options. I also love the way the servants work, how sometimes you're getting all this kinds of really cool stuff in the game that I just played this morning with Skippy and Original Don and the designer Dustin. It was so cool. I found 2 servants, and both of them, I was able to give them a few coins, and they gave me an item, which let me keep on going through, and is actually why I won this morning, because I suddenly had a kind of new lease on life. After I was getting a little bit beaten up, I was able to kind of keep going and succeed. Excellent. Just excellent the way that works. There's a wide variety of stuff that you can buy. I really like that core mechanic there as well. However, the next thing that I'm going to highlight that's really fun about this is everything's simultaneous. There's pretty much nothing that you're going to have to deal with that is going to make you wait, with the exception of if you beat your guy on the first fight and they have to do a second fight. So maybe you're going to wait a little bit there. Maybe someone's still going to be doing their shopping after you finish your fight, or vice versa. But in general, it's all simultaneous. And I really like the way that works. I also like that this is not a punishing game as far as what other players are doing to you. I think it is very clever that it's just a very clear, I'm blocking your path. You want me to move? Make me an offer. Not good enough. Done. I love that there's no haggling because it just makes things quick and easy and simple, and I think that's very, very clever. But it also kind of promotes the idea of working together on some of these harder fights. And we actually didn't do it this morning when we played. One of the previous times I played many, many months ago, I did work with people just to kind of check it out, and it really does promote it because working together once will get you something good, both of you something good, and your danger that you're in is so reduced. It really, really works well, but you also do not have to do it. As I said today, none of us work together, And I managed to win, and I never did the hardest fights. I didn't fight the boss. Dustin actually defeated the boss, and he still came in third place. So there are different avenues to winning in this game, and I really, really like that. And I love how fast the game goes when you are all understanding what's going on. It really does cook. So what are my quibbles with the game? The first thing is, I really wish there was a solo. And I understand why there's not. And that's because part of the joy of the game is bidding for Vent Rouge and the potential kind of working together. And I guess with solo you kind of lose that. I think you probably could find a way to do it in a way that is decently satisfying, just kind of let you keep on moving through. And so I just wish that that was something that was possible, that there was a solo possibility in this game. Next thing I'll say is this is just a guy making this game, and so you're not going to get the uber production value. Though for I believe it's only $70, you can get the deluxe, which is going to have all these acrylic tokens. There's a lot of tokens in this game, so I think it's going to look really good. But you're not getting something big and huge. This is a small game. They're just going to throw on the table, and you're going to play through. It's fast, it's quick, and at the same time, it's going to always be the same arc. I think that can be switched up by what kind of cards come out, and maybe there's more personas added that make players have different powers and all those kinds of things. But really, that's it. I think that if you're interested in kind of the weirdness that is this game, this kind of push your luck tableau building, competitive but not directly competitive, but not heads down kind of game totally, then I really think this is interesting. It looks great, it's unique, it's clever. I think this is a game that if you are looking for something interesting, this is it. But there you have it, folks. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.